Hey, what's going on there, people of the fog? So, in today's video, I thought I would talk about the archives as well as the archive, well, the Rift Pass that is. It's already been out for a few days, so a lot of us have gotten familiar with it, gotten an idea of what the pass is like, what the archives is like. Um, and I have quite a lot of positive to say about it after I've already completed level 1 of the Rift, as many of us have already have at this point. If you've been playing the game, it's not really too hard to get level 1 at least. I did purchase the premium version of the pass just to get a feel for it and whether or not I'm going to continue to do so throughout the new rifts that will keep coming out over the course of the months, and long as if like I'm actually getting cosmetics for playing the game, like some decent ones, and I'm actually leveling up my rift at a steady rate, at a reasonable rate, for as many hours that I put into the game, then I think I would actually probably consider purchasing a pass again in the future. However, I'm told, and it does look like that, if you do complete the pass, you do get your 1,000 cells back, and then you can essentially get another free pass, as long as if you haven't spent any of those cells. So, I might just do that. I mean, if I'm getting a free pass every single time, then why would I want to spend $10 over and over again, right? So, after we've finished the archive for level 1, we did get a little bit of a tease for level 4, what level 4 is going to be. Most of the challenges that are in there aren't too difficult, in my opinion. Some of them are purely situational, though, I understand that. So, I mean, that could be very problematic for completing the rift, but I'll get a little bit into that more when we talk about the rift pass specifically, because right now I'm just going to kind of focus on archives. But I'm going to tell you exactly why that can also be a problem, because it's situational, because a lot of the challenges that are in the archives, well, at least a handful in any way, are very situational and can take a hell of a long time to complete because of exactly situational, how players are playing in the game, and et cetera, what perks and all that kind of good stuff. So, with the introduction to the archives, I highly believe this is going to be uh, the well, not the brink, but this is going to further help the game in terms of life and growth. I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's just the event maybe, but ever since the archives was introduced, I'm seeing a huge influx of players right now playing the game. Averagely, before the archives mid-chapter patch came out, it was kind of averaging on PC, that is, around 20 to 25,000 players. So that's really, really good, because that means that we'll expect to see more content for this game, and this game isn't quite dead just yet. I would like to see 100,000 players, but the problem is when you bring in more players into the game, then it makes it that much more difficult to get into matches. At least ever since this mid-chapter patch came out, I'm having an increasingly difficult time trying to play as a survivor, which is very weird, because for quite a while it's always been the opposite. If you try to play killer, killer takes a hell of a long time to even get into a match. So I don't really know why that is, but hopefully they fix something with the matchmaking system, because it can be a very long time. When I was doing my Day of the Dead stream yesterday, like, it was taking me at least like almost like 5-10 minutes to find a match for a survivor. So, but either way, having more players, engage in the game because they're trying to complete their challenges, that is such a great thing to see. It gives us another incentive in the game to do, other than just the same repetitive, rinse and repeat, repair generators, escape the map, kill survivors, hook survivors, and win the game. So, in terms of the lore for the archives, it's passable. I'm kind of impressed, kind of not impressed. I mean, I mean, either which way, we have lore for the game. I mean, I'm very pleased that we do have lore for the game, because that's something I've really wanted. And when I heard about that in the anniversary update, I was very pleased to hear about that. Because this game, I think, definitely deserves something like that for original killers and survivors. But I mean, it's passable at most. I think where most of, I mean, I did see, if you guys didn't see my community post, I basically went into the game files and I actually ripped all the audio files from the game, so you don't actually have to complete level 4 to listen to every single one of them, because if you complete level 1, you still don't have access to the other audio logs that are present until you pretty much complete them all in level 4. So if you guys do want to go check that out, just check out my community post. I already ripped them. I don't have them all in the correct order, and I'm not entirely sure if I put or labeled them all to their corresponding character. Like, for instance, you'll see in the WinRAR archive that it says Evan number 1, Evan number 2. I was listening to the audio, and to my best of my ability, I tried to match them up with the characters as best as I could. But yeah, so you know, just listening to some of the lore, it's doable, it's passable. I'm still very much invested in it. I look forward to seeing what other kinds of lore they're going to do within the next archive and the next rift. So, but I think where the lore really shines is the videos. If you guys have seen the videos or already spoiled yourself, because anybody can really look these up easily within the game's directory in the videos file of Dead by Daylight, and you will find the videos that are meant to be seen in game, and I think they're very interesting, especially the Alchemist one, or otherwise we think it's Vigo. The Alchemist one is very interesting in my opinion. It almost looked like he was in the gates of hell just looking at that. It was very, very interesting to see. I think that's where the lore really shines. I think if they told stories a lot more through these little concept video, artsy fartsy type videos, I think I would be a lot more impressed than just hearing audio logs. But don't get me wrong by any means, I still enjoy the audio logs, but I would like to see a lot more video work done. I know that can take a lot more resources and a lot more time, but in my opinion, make it happen, man, because I really enjoy the videos a lot more than I do the audio logs. I think there's just a lot more effort put into it, in my opinion. Okay, so with the archives out of the way, we're going to try to get into the Rift Pass now. So I was really skeptical about the Rift Pass because, I mean, we're introducing something that could be either very predatory or very positive for the game. I mean, in my opinion, I was actually thinking it was a lot more like an EA type of thing. So I did do a video on this in the past, right when the 3.0.0 developer build, when I initially re-leaked it. And so let's start from the beginning. Somebody, and I don't have their name on hand, I apologize, but no credit goes to me for finding this, but there was, I think it was a Reddit user that basically leaked this information out. I mean, it could even be leaks by Daylight, I'm not entirely sure, but they basically essentially, you know, because with the 3.0.0 developer build, you were able to use the developer console, and in the developer console, you could basically access an early version of the Rift Pass, mind you, and what it looked like was basically a Fortnite Battle Pass type copy and paste, and I didn't know how I quite felt about this because I didn't know how grindy it was going to be, or how it was going to be implemented, basically, because I've never played Fortnite, so I don't know how their little battle pass system works, but just judging by images on Google and then kind of seeing how it works, I was like, oh, okay. So I could kind of see why some people could be really skeptical about it. One, because, you know, it's kind of like microtransactions type stuff. So let's see. I mean, the format is essentially the same, though. I mean, the format is basically a copy and paste from what we actually have in games. So, like, for instance, I would say it's basically the same thing as the Fortnite Battle Pass, only with a fresh coat of paint. Because, you know, it'll say in the Fortnite Battle Pass that the season ends in 9 days, whereas ours says the Rift closes in 9 days, you know. So it's really the same thing and what you're getting. And mind you, I did write some notes down because there's a lot to talk about here that my little pea-sized brain can't can't all talk about all at once. So again, I figured that this pass was going to tarnish the game. I was thinking it was going to be like an EA predatory type of crap, but I'm actually very impressed with the way it was executed and how much that you're able to progress. Let's see, I didn't think it was all that grindy like I was saying. However, if you do not have challenges to complete, it can be very grindy. I mean, me just playing my stream last night for the Day of the Dead event, it took me, Christ, just to get one tier, because right now I'm at tier 18 right now. to get one tier, which is like an equivalent of like 20 games, I would say, or roughly 15 to 20 games just to rank up your tier, because one game, well, sorry, let me go back. It could take anywhere between 8 to 15 games, maybe, to rank up your tier for your Rift. Because I was noticing that I would get like one whole fragment, and then I would get like half a fragment done. And then other games, it just depends on how well you do too. So I mean, I was just finding it was taking me an incredibly long time to get any type of fragment for my Rift, just because of how grindy it is without challenges. Now I can see that being a real big problem, and I'm going to get to that even more so, like I said, once I get to the end of my notes here. But without challenges, yeah, it's going to be almost a nightmare. Um, and again, we're going to talk about how that could be a problem because of situational type challenges. But let's see here. There was a user by Radiant Spark, which I will have a little image right here, that he basically did the math, and I got to say props to you for doing this math, because I can't do math for the shit right now. I'm even taking statistics, and I don't even know what the hell's going on, but somehow I'm getting a good grade in it. Honestly, I don't really understand the material, but so let's go ahead and get into this, and I will read it word for word here on the screen of the this user that basically did the math and how you're able to basically complete the Rift Pass at a reasonable rate. And I think what he said was you still have some time left over. So let's go ahead and see that right here. Okay, so this is the Reddit post here. Again, I take no credit for this. This goes to Radiant Spark here, so props to you for doing this math, because most of us couldn't. So, the devs claimed that getting to max level on the Rift will be balanced around a player playing for 1 hour per day. So he says, let's put that to the test. The Rift lasts for 70 days, and within that period are 4 tomes. Now, from the 2 tomes I've seen, those being 1 and 4, because as you recall, once you've completed Tome 1, you're automatically able to see Tome 4 because of a bug that's in Dead by Daylight right now, at least for us PC players. I don't know about console, but each had roughly 80 fragments with a 10 fragment completion bonus for each tome. So every time if you completed a tome, you automatically get a 10 fragment bonus. Assuming tomes 2 and 3 are the same, so 90 that is, that puts us at 90 fragments per tome for a total of 360 fragments, of course. 10 fragments being required for a level means, let's see, 10 fragments being required for a level, yeah, because we basically need, well, for the leveling up, it takes at least 10 levels to get even 1 fragment, so that only means somehow only got, or sorry, required for a level means that if you somehow only got the fragments from the tomes, you would be at level 36. So basically, if you played every single day, what he's saying is if you played only every single day, not even completing challenges per se, you would only be at level 36. And I believe there is 72 levels, somewhere around 70 levels in the Rift, I believe. I could be completely wrong on that, but I think that's what he's essentially saying. You'd be level 36, which is more than halfway to max. Okay, yeah, right here, level on the 70 level Rift. Now let's start on XP. Since the idea, and this is going to get into the math part, which I'm kind of blown away by, but now let's start with XP. Since the idea is an hour per day, let's factor in your first match of the day bonuses. If you play at least 1 game on each of the 70 days that the Rift is open, you will only be able to, or you will only be getting 300 times 70, or 21,000 XP. At 80,000 XP for a Rift level, that's 2.625 levels just from the first match of the day bonuses. So essentially, if you're just playing 1 day, you're already getting upwards of 2 levels, I think is what he's essentially saying here, almost 3 levels actually. Now for the real meat. The remaining 31.375 tiers each require 8,000 XP to complete, which means we are 251,000 from completion. That sounds like a lot at first. XP in a match gained at a rate of 1 per second. If we divide 251,000 by 60, we are left with 4,183.33, the number of minutes. and doing it again results in a grand total of raw hours required to complete the rift, assuming you play every day and complete all the tomes, which is 69.722222 hours. So essentially, if you're playing exactly if you're playing the game exactly each day, you are basically able to complete this rift in no time, basically. As long as if you're actively playing the game, it's kind of like by a butt hair smidge, but I mean it is doable. Is what he's essentially saying, and this is also putting into consideration, the challenges and things like that. So. I was honestly surprised by this outcome. Usually, the battle pass like systems are almost mandate you purchase tiers to complete them, because as you can essentially use your cells to unlock tiers, to make it less grindy. But it says here, however, it seems the developers were truly honest in their estimation. You even have leeway, as each match offers an albeit marginal bonus based on your emblems. I'm honestly really happy that it seems truly double for an average player. Thank you, Behavior, for not being scummy. And yes, that is very true. I do have to thank them for that as well. You know, putting your money where your mouth is, kind of thing. And actually allowing yourself to actually finish this pass at a reasonable time is very great. And being able to almost unlock, or if not unlock, everything in the Rift at a reasonable rate. And it's not too predatory like EA. However, we have to go to this guy here because he does have a very useful point. And I'm going to botch the hell out of this spelling. I think it's Canium Plays here. He says, it's all well and good in theory, however, the only thing I'm concerned about is the level difficulty that later challenges provide according to the leaks. For example, sacrifice all survivors in a basement in the match. Leatherface, I feel like this would be a really good one if the survivors are stupid enough to keep saving people. But that is still a challenging challenge nonetheless. Escape using Spine Chill without being hooked. That one could be potentially easy. Again, we're going to talk about situational though. Sacrifice 3 survivors with Node during the endgame collapse in the match. Now, a lot of the endgame challenges, I will agree, are very challenging because not many people stay for endgame, and the match is essentially over at that point. If somebody gets hooked in endgame, for the most part, people don't typically save, but maybe once or twice at most. But to get 3 survivors hooked, they got to be just really stupid, and again, that's a situational kind of thing. Safely unhook 3 survivors during the endgame collapse in the match. Now that one's the same thing, very, very hard to do. If anything, you're lucky to get maybe 1 or 2 in a match. 3 is kind of really pushing it for endgame. Like, you'll have to be really just sticking around throughout the whole entirety of the game. These are only a few of them, and they seem almost impossibly situational. Again, exactly my point. Situational here. Very, very situational. It really just depends on how the players are playing in the game, what perks they're using. Everything ties in together, and it could take a long time to complete these challenges because, for the most part, most matches averagely play about the same. It's going to be kind of really hard to get some of those harder challenges complete. So hopefully, it's one of those things, like it's time will tell when level 4 comes out and we actually really try to get these challenges complete. Now, by any means, are these as challenging as, say, Evil Incarnate? No, but I mean, still. I really hope that we're able to complete these in a timely manner before the rift closes. But I mean, even if you're not getting those rift fragments, I mean, you are still playing the game, you are still earning XP to still gain rift fragments. So long as if you're still completing all the other challenges that are relatively easy, I still think you're going to be able to complete the rift in no time. But again, this is focusing on the fact that if you're honestly playing and being active in the game for a long period of time. If you're playing other games, or you're busy doing other things in life, that could be very hard to complete the pass at that point because you're losing out on time. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts and opinions on this, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I'm going to try my very best to complete my own pass because I did buy premium for $10, so I really do need to get on it and really try my very best at completing the rift here. But yeah, any questions, comments, guys, please feel free to leave them down there, and I will definitely get back to you guys as soon as possible. I'd like to hear what your thoughts and opinions are as well, not just my own. Alright guys, so see you in the next video. I may or may not have a stream tonight, so look out for that. When I stream, I don't really have a set day or time. I just kind of do it because my schedule is kind of sporadic. So if you catch me, cool, drop by the stream, say hello. I'm pretty friendly. So yeah, take care guys, and I'll see you in the fog. Peace out.